Welcome back, everyone, for the fifth and final day of Holistic Autonomy. My name's Lola Repan, and it's been an amazing journey. I'm so grateful for all of you who have come to class or watched the replays and held space for this unfolding. So today, day 5, just want to pick up a little bit of where we were on day 4, and we ended off talking about inspired action and how our intuition shows us what those next inspired action steps are. And this whole class is an inspired action. I was sitting in on a business sales or business training, basically a business training with my mentors that was designed to help us surface our language around what it is that we do to really talk to the people that we're most meant to serve. And out of this session on business and language and finding your true community, right, and serving them, I got the inspired action to do this 5-day class. Now, I had been taught this material about the 5-day class and about how to teach at that sort of introductory level to get to reach your ideal clients and your the people that you're most meant to work with, so that you can continue living into your gifts. I was taught this material for probably about a year, but I didn't take action on it until just now, because I had to clear those negative thoughts and emotions that were blocking me from taking the action steps. So I would experience procrastination, or I would get stuck in the how hole. How do I do this? Life would happen and I would say, oh, I don't have time. My life situation is too complicated right now. Blah, blah, blah. All right. I would always have an excuse, a justification. We can all understand all of that as resistance. So even though it took me about a year to get here, experiencing all of that resistance along the way allowed me to clear those negative thoughts and emotions and take action. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Oh, the how hole has gotten Krista too. Yes, indeed. Right. So the how hole, for those of you that maybe haven't heard this amazing term before, I think the first time you hear it, you're like, oh, I know what that is, because we've probably all been there. And that's when you get the idea, but you get stuck in the how. How am I going to do this? How am I going to afford this? How can I do this with the life that I'm already living, and my job and my family and my partner and my dog or cat or whatever, right? We just get overwhelmed in that how. But what I really hope to be teaching you through this class and through the classes that I'm going to continue to offer is that the how hole, the very existence of a how hole, reveals our unconscious biases. Remember all the way back to day 1, the NLP communication model, and that we get 11 million bits of data every second, and we're only able to consciously process 134 of those. The 10 million plus bits are deleted, distorted, and generalized. Through that filtering system, we would arrive at something that's manageable for the mind to process, and those are processed as those internal representations, those picture movies that are encoded with the visual, auditory, kinesthetic detail, as well as your thoughts in that moment, as well as the emotional tone of that moment. So those internal representations are stored in the unconscious mind. And so the very existence of a belief like the how hole means that we have an internal representation for starting something new, for pursuing our dreams, for making a big impact on the world. And so when we have that big kind of abstract frame, it's very easy to get stuck in the how hole, because the big picture is abstract. It's up here. The how is down here in the details. And our mind does not go that readily from that big chunked up purpose-driven state to the how. What I'm teaching you is that the negative thoughts and emotions actually point us right in the direction of our how. Because as we get the learnings from the negative thoughts and emotions, we deserve to release those to create new possibilities and inspired actions. So with the how hole, a common how hole saying might be like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to execute my vision of the, using Raquel's example from yesterday, or let's use Michelle's because she's on the call today, that Michelle wants to have her mind, body, spirit wellness center. Well, how is she going to do that? So as we start to release the negative thoughts and emotions, Michelle's going to realize that she's got a lot of deleted, distorted, and generalized information that can show her exactly how. Because the how is a staircase, right? We take the first step, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step. We don't go to the finish line, but many of us think with the end in mind rather than break it down into SMART goals. And that's actually the topic of today's call. So why don't I go ahead and segue? This is just to review our agenda, right? So on day one, we talked about the prime directives of the unconscious mind and the NLP communication model. I taught you about those 11 million bits of data that get chunked into 134 that get chunked into about 7 or 9 overall topics that create that IR. Your internal representation creates your state, happy, joyful, anticipation, encouraged, willing, or uneasy, awkward, uncertain, doubtful. That state creates your physiology, the neurotransmitters and neuropeptides that are running through your mind, as well as the actual mechanics of your nervous system. Well, this is a well-worn pathway to feel uneasy and anxious when I think about how am I going to do this? So my nervous system impulses are just going to go down this well-worn track. That's part of the physiology. That physiology leads to our behavior. Well, I'm overwhelmed, so I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to procrastinate and go on TikTok again, right? Or as we start to do the release work and we get the new learnings, that's going to influence that IR. It's going to influence our state. Now I'm encouraged. Now I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not yet at the final wellness center, but I know I can do this research on what I'm going to need for my insurance purposes or what legal things I'm going to do. Or maybe I'm just going to come up with a cool name. Or maybe I'm going to do my color palette. There are so many small steps along the way until getting there. And then that's going to create a whole new physiology. Oh, this is fun. Cool. I love exercising my creativity, choosing colors and shapes for my logo and my branding. And that takes you that little step of the way in that new physiology, right? So now you're in that state of excitement, anticipation, fun, creativity. Then that's going to influence your behavior. So now Michelle can do the little things on the way until the wellness center comes to be. Oh my gosh, that was all of day one. Day two is the alignment process, right? Which, as I taught you, the positive thoughts and positive emotions are essential for that alignment process to function. And the alignment process is a feedback loop. So when we stop having the positive thoughts and emotions and we start having the negative thoughts and emotions, like this is too hard, I can't do this, how? We deserve to extract the learnings from those negative thoughts and emotions. How am I going to do this? This is too hard. Well, when you think it's too hard, what do you feel? When I think it's too hard, I feel sad. When you think it's too hard and you feel sad, what do? I eat a pint of ice cream and I binge my favorite series on Netflix. Wow, okay. So when might have been the first time that you thought it was too hard, you felt sad and you overate and numbed out? Oh, that sounds like when I was like 11 and that person on the playground said that I was too heavy, so I wouldn't be able to run fast. And so I was picked last on the team. It's just too hard. And I went home that day and I ate a tray of brownies that my mom had made. Right. So we see the root causes of behaviors, and we deserve to go back and learn from that initiating incident what we actually were meant to learn that day, which is belief, let's say belief in self or determination or hidden talent or hidden vigor or stamina, whatever, right? So the alignment process is that feedback loop that we must and we deserve to explore the negative thoughts and emotions to stay in alignment so we can take those next steps. All right, thanks, Michelle. Drive safe. All right, then day 3, we talked about intuition. Unfortunately, I did not record day 3, but day 3 was all about intuition and how we can use our intuition to keep us moving along that alignment feedback cycle, and how our intuition supports us in translating the symbolic content of the unconscious mind to the conscious mind. The intuition is the translator or the bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind. The steps in building and in having that relationship with your intuition are to listen to it. So we talked on day 3 about how I would wager that probably everyone on this call, because we're all intuitively gifted, have at some point in their life not listened to their intuition. They knew that that was the wrong person, that was the wrong thing to do, they shouldn't have done that, or wish they had done something else, and then and you didn't listen. So when you don't listen to your intuition eventually shuts down. And I told the story about how I shut mine down for 5, 6, 7 years because I got messages like, you're weird, you're too sensitive, you're making it up, you're making things out of, little big things out of little things and stuff like that. So I turned down the volume on my intuition. I deserve to recover that my intuition was a powerful force that always guided me to exactly where I needed to be and showed me and crystallized situations that were exactly the ones that I was needing at that time. So we talked about how the intuition can support you in staying aware, bringing that unconscious material to the conscious mind, and giving you those next clear action steps, because the intuition speaks in symbols. So it'll just come to you. You'll hear it, you'll see it, you'll feel it, or you'll just know it. And it's that immediate awareness of something without the need for conscious thought. And intuition is one of the topics that I teach on the most. With 100% honesty, the best decisions in my life have been intuitive decisions, completely intuitive, in particular around buying the home that I'm in now in Florida. In 2020, from about 2015 to 2019, I had applied for mortgages in Jersey City, New Jersey, where I lived at the time. And every time they were like, your paperwork is too weird, you're self-employed, it doesn't make any sense, you won't get approved. Why don't you go back and get a real job and show us some W-2s when you're earning the amount necessary to get you the mortgage that you want? So the mortgage people were already like, yoga teacher, life coach, whatever it is that you're doing, it doesn't really look good on paper, so you're not going to be able to get a mortgage. So go back and get a real job. That was actually told to me, go back and get a real job. So back to intuition, in 2020, when the pandemic started, intuitively, I was like, I want to leave. I don't want to be up here anymore. I want to go somewhere else. And then I saw an article that was titled 10 Best Beaches in the United States. And 3 of them were right here in this region, in the Tampa Bay region. It was like Clearwater, St. Pete, and something else. And I was like, top 3 out of 10 best beaches in the United States. 3 of them are in this area. Let me go check this out. So I took a trip in 2019 here to check it out. And then in 2020, the pandemic hit. I had kind of put the whole house moving thing on the back burner. And then the pandemic starts and I just start playing on Zillow and looking on Zillow. And then intuition is like, maybe things are different now. Maybe, it's a different economy and pandemic and people are moving. Maybe if you apply for a mortgage now, things will be different. And intuition was like, go for it. So I did. And then I got pre-qualified and then I got pre-approved and then I got approved. And intuition was just like, see, go for it, and intuitively, I was just taking the next steps. And then how I found the house that I live in now was also quite intuitive. But anyway, so intuition, how that can support you. And I firmly believe that following our intuition will get us the best results that we are meant to have, that we deserve to have. Yesterday, we talked about vision and impact, and we did some coaching around what do you really want? Thank you, Shannon. What do you really want? And when you picture why you don't yet have what you really want, what are the negative thoughts and emotions? And that you deserve to release those negative thoughts and emotions around your vision, because that's directly influencing the impact you're able to have on your own life, your family's life, your community's life, and the world. right? So we're all here because we have something big to do, something big to offer, or we're driven by those top level values like purpose or service or love or helping people or equality or whatever it is, peace, health. Very, very abstract, very, very chunked up. I'm going to teach about chunked up and chunked down in my 8-week group coaching class, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But anyway, so most of us are driven by these very high level values that are also very abstract. Today, we're going to talk about how to bring that abstraction down into the real world so that you live on purpose, you live in alignment with your purpose. When you live in alignment with your vision, with your purpose, you're impacting yourself, your family, your community, and the world on a daily basis because you are modeling excellence by taking action, by using your intuition to recover the lost information from your unconscious mind, make it conscious, get the learnings from the conscious awareness, and then feed that right back into your alignment cycle, clearing those negative thoughts and emotions by getting the learnings. And then intuition will tell you, okay, now that you know that, now what's possible? What next steps can you take? And it will be some steps that are comfortably, maybe with a little bit of a stretch, but comfortably within reach. You know that with that learnings that you have now, you can take that next step. And so this incremental, which becomes exponential growth, is the process that I teach, is the process that's been taught to me, is the process that I've been implementing for these last 3 years to go from living in that teeny tiny studio apartment with 2 dogs and another human being, 2 dogs, 2 humans, in under 400 square feet in noisy, dirty, loud, crowded Jersey City, and like creating this life that I live now in 3 years, maybe a little bit less. And so it's totally possible to turn your life around. And I do not come from money. I don't have a trust fund like everybody else. I have my checking account, my savings account. I have some credit cards, and I have some wise investments that I've made over the years. To be totally upfront with you, I bought my property in Costa Rica on savings. I'd saved since I was in my 20s, even though I was messing up my money towards the end of my 20s, early 30s, I started to save money, and I bought my property in Costa Rica purely on savings. So it wasn't like I took out a loan, or I didn't have my parents throw money at me, or I didn't get an outside investor. I just did it on my own. Same thing with my house. I put my savings into the down payment. I got the mortgage. I knew that the monthly mortgage payment I could make. And then all the rest fell into place. But I didn't get stuck in the hellhole. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about SMART goals and how to resource up and how to make your vision come into reality. So SMART goals is the topic for today, and SMART goals has a meaning, and I will tell you about that. Oh my gosh, Morgan is also in the buying land and home phase of her life. So Morgan, you weren't here yesterday, but on yesterday's class, literally everyone that participated in the process of what's something that you really want said home and land. And Michelle's is a wellness center. So that's, you know, still a structure, a container for her to live her purpose and be at cause in her life and have her impact. So it's amazing that you're in the same place. We're all in it. That's right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about coaching and resourcing up, right? So resourcing up, let me dial it back a little bit. I've been teaching you a lot during this class that we've got these top level categories, and then we've got the smaller categories underneath, or the subcategories. So I proposed that manifestation work, visualization, oracle cards, affirmation, positive self-talk, self-care, all goes under the umbrella of alignment. Right? That alignment is necessary for visualization, manifestation, vision boards, affirmations, oracle card readings, etc., to bear fruit. So I want to talk about the umbrella of resourcing up, and underneath resourcing up, we're going to find many other subcategories. Right now, I'm going to present the subcategory of coaching as the overarching category. As the subcategory of resourcing up. So here we've got Oprah Winfrey. And we all know who Oprah is. She is a symbol of success and power, especially for women, for people of color. And do you all think that Oprah Winfrey got to where she is without coaches? No way. So here's a quote from Oprah Winfrey's coach. This has almost been like meditation. What isn't working in your life rises to the surface. That's Martha Beck, best-selling author and Harvard-trained sociologist and Oprah's life coach. She goes on. Every act of creation begins with the destruction of the status quo. Sounds like breakthrough work and getting rid of those negative thoughts and emotions and taking inspired action and doing things you've never done before. Martha Beck continues, it looks like chaos, but really it's freedom from the tyranny of how things have always been done. Wow. So that is Oprah's coach. Oprah's coach is basically coaching the very same stuff that we're learning here, which is that it's almost like meditation. What isn't working in your life rises to the surface. Going back to the way it was, it's not going to happen. So this is the other exciting thing about this work, is that once you become conscious of the unconscious content, it no longer presents a problem. So I want to go back to my money story and being in that tiny little studio apartment and feeling like I needed to make more money. I couldn't even say in 2018 that I wanted to make more money. I first had to say I needed to make more money because I was in this tiny apartment, New York City, it's expensive. And there was so much I wanted to do and so much I wanted to experience. And I was always feeling like I didn't have enough money. So all of what wasn't working rose to the surface. I started getting coaching around my money story, right? I had a money breakthrough with my mentor. And then all that anxiety that I used to feel around my money dipping down below a certain level or not being able to spend my money, right? Once I released all that, I was able to just be like, okay, cool. I'm going to just clean out my savings. Or not clean it out, but I'm going to take a big chunk out of my savings and I'm going to invest it in this property in Costa Rica. I'm going to buy this land in Costa Rica. Some people might say that was risky. And I actually, I guess it was, but I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm taking a risk. I was just like, here's this opportunity. And now that I no longer have this anxiety around money, I'm going to take what's in my savings account and purchase this land. I have no idea what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to be doing, but I know that this opportunity was presented to me for a very important reason, and I am going to take it. So I didn't yet know what I was going to do with the land or what was going to happen, but I just knew that it was a step in the right direction. And I also knew that it was connected to me creating a wellness center, right? I knew somehow that would all come together, but I didn't know how. Wow. All right. Switch has had what often happens when we're in this like transformational container. She says she started the week focused on what she wanted this fall to look like after Burning Man, and her day job exploded in her face on Tuesday morning. Well, that's pretty timely, right? So doing this work, I would probably ask Switch something like, what are you taking it to mean that your day job exploded in your face? What are you taking it to mean that your day job exploded in your face? So you can work on that one a little bit, mull that over, Switch, while I keep on teaching. So anyway, Oprah, right? Oprah's got a coach. Michael Phelps, you think Michael Phelps won? I think in this picture, he has 23 gold medals. You think Michael Phelps became the most winningest, most well-known swimmer without a coach? Of course not. And do we know any other swimmers by name? I'm not sure. But Michael Phelps definitely became the first person to make swimming that present in the public consciousness, right? Before it was like, oh yeah, swimming, that's cool, something that happens every 4 years at the Olympics, but probably we didn't really know any swimmers by name. So let's talk about those top level motivations, right? Vision and purpose. Michael Phelps says, I want to be able to look back and say, I've done everything I can and I was successful. I don't want to look back and say, I should have done this or that. I'd like to change things for the younger generation of swimmers coming along. So Michael Phelps was motivated by something very abstract, very broad. He wanted to change things for the younger generation of swimmers coming along. You can hear in that deep personal motivation. How? I don't know. By when? Not sure. That would be in the SMART goal category. But we can hear in his language that there's something very deep motivating him. All right, here's another great quote from Michael Phelps that really plugs into this work that we're doing. Let me check on the chat here. Okay. Oh, am I not sharing? I'm not screen sharing. Oh, sorry, guys. And I had made all these cool slides too. Okay. Here we go. All right. Now, can you guys see Michael Phelps? Michael Phelps. Going once, going twice. Yes. Amazing. Okay. Thank you. All right. So let me rewind a little bit. Okay, so yeah, we started talking today. We reviewed the agenda. We're going to talk about SMART goals today, right? And SMART goals stands for something. I'll get to that in a second. We talked about Oprah and how she has a coach. You get a coach, and you get a coach, and you get a coach, and how her coach. I just love that quote. This has almost been like meditation. Yeah, coaching is a lot like meditation because you go inside, right, as you do this work. What isn't working in your life rises to the surface. Going back to the way it was, that's not going to happen. I love how she just lays it on the line. And that's Martha Beck, is Oprah's coach. Now we're talking about Michael Phelps. And did Michael Phelps become that greatest of all time swimmer without a coach? No. And so I love this second quote that he says, you can't put a limit on anything. The more you dream, the farther you get. Again, he's way up here, motivated by very top level stuff. And he's also communicating that the more you dream, the more you let those IRs, those internal representations expand, the further you get. Why? Because now your unconscious mind has a picture for it. You made a picture of your dream. You gave your unconscious mind something concrete and material to now go get. Because remember, the conscious mind is the goal setter, the unconscious mind is the goal getter. One more quote from Michael Phelps. I've reached a place in my life where I need to sit down and say, well, what do I do? What's best for me? I need to look into options for the future. Wow. So here's a guy who's won 23 gold medals and he's still young. And I don't know, he might have even won more by now. I don't know. And he's like, what do I do now? I need to look into options for the future. So even a person as accomplished as Michael Phelps, remember, one of the prime directives of the unconscious mind is to always be wanting more. He fulfilled that top level goal of changing the sport of swimming for the young new generation of swimmers coming up. He won 23 gold medals and now he's like, what's next? So coaching, I want you to remember that the unconscious mind is programmed to always want more, because that's going to keep us in evolving and keep us coming up against those limiting thoughts and emotions that are preventing us from getting to that next level. So even Michael Phelps knows you got to keep going. It's just inevitable. And one more awesome pair of well-known collaborators, right? Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. Michael Jordan, obviously the legendary basketball player, and Phil Jackson, the legendary coach. And listen to Michael Jordan talking about his coach, Phil Jackson. Something I've learned from Phil: calming the body. No matter how much pressure there is in a game, I think to myself, it's still just a game. I don't meditate, but I know what he's getting at. He is teaching about peacefulness and living in the moment, but not losing the aggressive attitude, not being reckless, but strategic. What I do is challenge myself in big games. I find a quiet center within me because there's so much hype out there and I don't want to fall into it. I don't want to rush. I'll start off rebounding or getting everybody else involved until I get an easy shot, a layup or a free throw or something, then boom, I'm off and running. I will have controlled my emotions and not gotten overhyped or lost my focus. These are things Phil has taught me. And I'll tell you, it all works. In big games, more so than in anything. Wow. So what I love about this quote is that Michael Jordan is very conscious of his neurological process. He goes inside, right? He calms the body. He says he doesn't meditate, but he knows what Phil Jackson's getting at. It's peacefulness, living in the moment, and not losing that aggressive attitude. So he's doing a conscious reframe. He's aware of that he's got that aggressive attitude. That's part of it. That's part of Michael Jordan. And he's learned how to harness that. And I love that he says that this way of going inside and finding that quiet center and not getting lost in the hype out there helps him start his it's like he starts easy. He said, I'll get everybody involved. I'll get an easy shot. I'll get a layup or a free throw. And then boom, it's like he needs that little warm up period. And then he's in flow state. So again, Phil Jackson is well known for teaching flow to his players. So I just love this pairing. I've always found this pairing fascinating because it really shows the collaborative relationship between a coach and a player or a client or whatever you want to call it. Right? But I love player because we're just playing at this game of life. All right, so today we're going to talk about SMART goals, and SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So before we start talking about SMART goals, I'd love to hear from the chat. Did anybody get a chance to do the 6-month letter assignment from yesterday? Did anybody get a chance to write their 6-month letter? So yesterday's homework was write a letter to yourself as if it's already happened. All right, 6 months from today, or yesterday would have been February 11th, 2023, and to create a SMART 6-month letter around that. Now I'm going to break down how to set goals within that 6-month letter. So you guys have your 6-month letter. If you haven't written it yet, write it today before you do this process. No, clear the screen. Everybody's going to do this process right now, whether you have your 6-month letter or not. Okay, Switch started a new one and she's finishing tonight. Morgan loves SMART goals. Yes, they are great. Okay, so we're all going to do this, whether you have a 6-month letter complete or not. Trust your unconscious mind. I'm going to put it in a 3-month time frame. I'm going to give you a time frame to start just to rein it in a little bit. So I'd like everybody on this call right now or watching the replay to let your unconscious mind show you right now something that you really want in 3 months. Just to give you a date on that, that will be November 12th, 2023. Something that you really, really, really want by November 12th, 2023. And I'm going to play the game too. So I'm going to get a piece of paper. Something that you really want by November 12th, 2022. Did I say 2023? I meant 2022. Something that you really want by November 12th, 2022. That's in 3 months, 3 months from today. And let your unconscious mind show you, tell you, you hear it, or you just know it. You get that message, what it is. All right, I've got mine. Go ahead and write in the chat what your 3-month goal is. Please share in the chat what your 3-month goal is. Mine is to have 8 students in my self-mastery movement group coaching program. Okay, Morgan says a new job. Awesome. Okay. All right, now let's break it down. So Morgan's got a new job. I want 8 clients in my group coaching program by November 12th, 2022. So specific. All right, Morgan, I'm going to push you a little bit and ask you to get more specific. A new job in what? Or doing what? Or utilizing what aspect of your skill set? So new job is okay, but it's a little bit broad. It's a little bit broad. So I want to tighten it up a little bit. So I'm going to teach you guys, I'm going to teach the whole thing and then we're going to apply it. So S is for specific. So this means we can't be in that top level, airy fairy, love, peace, happiness place, right? We need to get a little bit more specific. Remember, I said that in the group coaching program, I'm going to be teaching about chunked up versus chunked down and how this abstract, vague category up here is really important because that tends to speak to our soul or our spirit. But to do that in real life, we need to chunk down and get into specifics and measurable things, concrete things, because it's a marriage of the heaven and earth, right? So, okay, Switch says making enough money every week, $1,000 to resign from her day job. Awesome. Love that. Krista, a 12 by 20 greenhouse complete and ready to fill with plants. Oh, this is so cool. Michelle, complete the 8-week group. Complete an 8-week group that had 8 participants and 2 new one-to-one coaching clients. Amazing. Okay, fantastic. All right. I'm loving those. Those are very specific. Now, measurable. Can you measure it? You can definitely measure a greenhouse that's 12 by 20. You can definitely measure enough money, $1,000, right? That's very specific and measurable. And then the completion of the 8-week group and to acquire 2 new one-to-one coaching clients. So those are all very, very measurable, right? You need to be able to put some quantifying label on it so that you know that you achieved it and it gives you something to go to. So A is achievable, right? It must be achievable. It must be something that you can do with what you have right now. So if I were to say, I want to earn, let me think of a, okay, let's say that I had Krista's goal of the 12 by 20 greenhouse. Well, in 3 months, that's probably not achievable for me because I don't have any of the material. I don't have a plan for it yet. And that's not really something that's in my wheelhouse right now. So it's kind of that's a little far away from me. But for Krista, it might be really achievable. Maybe she's already got the space for it. Maybe she already has the picture in her mind of what kind of greenhouse. 12 by 20, she knows the sizing already. So she's already pretty chunked down. You must have what you need to do it, right? Let's say Michelle's goal of completing the 8-week group and getting the 2 one-to-one coaching clients. If Michelle didn't have a laptop or an internet connection, she's probably not going to be able to achieve that. So that's what I mean by achievable. You have to have the resources at hand. So make sure that you are able to have the resources at hand and you can achieve that in this time frame. The R is realistic. This is similar to achievable, but a little bit, I want to expand on it. So Switch says making enough money every week, $1,000 to resign from her day job. That's realistic. Whereas if Switch said, I want to make $10,000 a week, but she hasn't yet made $1,000 a week, that would not meet the realistic measure for this part of the SMART goal. Just like if I said, I want to have 100 clients in my self-mastery movement program by November 12th, but I haven't gotten 8 into it yet, that's not realistic. Okay, so that's the R part. And then timely. This is putting a date on it, which I said I kind of put the time frame on it just to make it a little more manageable in the time that we have today. But that's where you specify a date, right? So Krista, by when are you going to have that 12 by 20 greenhouse complete and ready to fill with plants, right? It might be November 12th. That might be a good date for that. Switch might be giving herself a 3-month runway. Ooh, this is a good one for Switch's example. Switch has got a 3-month runway to get to $1,000 a week. That feels really good. Now that Switch knows she's got 3 weeks to ramp up to $1,000 a week, Switch could start with, she's making $100 extra in week 1. She's got 12 weeks to do this. Okay. She's got 12 weeks to get to now to $1,000 a week. So let's say in week 1, Switch is going to make $50 extra. And in week 2, Switch is going to make $100 extra. And in week 3, Switch is going to make $250 extra. And every step of the way, she's encountering the negative thoughts and emotions that prevent her from going to that next level. Now, here's the bonus on all of this. If Switch gets to $750 a week at the end of 3 months, did she not meet her goal? I'm going to say, it sounds so much easier coming out of my mouth. Yes, and you can start to see, now you have the IR for it, right? And that at every step of the way, you deserve to release the negative thoughts and emotions that are preventing you from believing and hearing it sound easy coming out of your own mouth at that $50 a week level. Switch, I'm certain that you could sell 1 artwork a week for $50, or you could paint 1 picture a week for $50, or you could do something that's going to get that $50 coming in. That's also building your community and building your confidence and building your willingness and all of that, all of the positive states to keep going until Switch is 12 weeks out. Now she's making $1,000 a week and she's quitting her day job. Yay. All right. So Michelle has got 12 weeks to complete an 8-week group program. Okay. That should be pretty easy to complete 8 weeks within 12 and get 2 new one-to-one coaching clients. So Michelle's got a 12-week runway to get those one-to-one coaching clients. We would start to break that down even more into what are the action steps from there. So Michelle, what does your intuition tells you are, let's say, 3 inspired action steps that you could take from now until, so let's call this week 1 in your 3-month window. What's an inspired action step or 2 that your unconscious mind tells you can get you to that one-to-one coaching client 12 weeks out? So anyway, I want to really nail down this point that even if we don't get to the final thing, let's say instead of enrolling 8 clients into my program, I enroll 6. Am I going to be upset? No, I'm going to be very, very happy. I'm going to feel that I achieved what I was looking to achieve, which is to start with a group of people to get somewhere. Exactly. That's right. Just like with Switch, a Switch at the end of 12 weeks is coming out with an extra $750 a week. I bet you that at that place, she would have a whole different new set of possibilities around quitting her job or doing something different. So SMART goals. Okay. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Okay. So Michelle says a sub goal or an inspired action step for her would be to build the group to 8 and start the group in September. Fantastic. All right. So she knows what, and then from there we can keep chunking down. Now, how are you going to build the group to 8 and start the group in September? And then we keep going and keep getting more and more drilled down. All right, so I hope that all of you here have an inspired action step or 2 that your intuition was like, this is what you need to do next so that you can get that new job in 12 weeks, so that you can get that greenhouse and get ready to fill it with plants in 12 weeks, so that you can make $1,000 a week by the end of 12 weeks and quit your day job. Okay, so to support all of you in doing that, I'm offering my self-mastery movement program. So I just want to also say that one of the tenets of NLP, of neuro-linguistic programming, is modeling excellence, right? So my mentors modeled to me how to teach NLP, how to use NLP, how to build community, how to teach this science of the mind stuff, how to teach mindset, all kinds of things, right? So they modeled excellence to me. This self-mastery movement program is so I can model to you who are also wanting to do something like what I'm doing, so you can learn through me how I do it, which is going to give you inspiration and take out a lot of the how for how you can do it. And then your audience, your community, the people that you serve are going to benefit from the work that you're doing on yourself. That's that impact. We impact ourselves, our family, our community, the world. So I want to congratulate Michelle, because Michelle jumped in, yay, yesterday. And she came into self-mastery movement at my yesterday special price, which was $100 off, $677 for the 8 weeks of program, which is Tuesday, I'll be teaching. Thursday, we'll be coaching and doing process work on it. So I'm going to teach you the concepts, the NLP concepts, the release work, right? The negative thoughts and emotions release work. I'm going to teach you all about intuition, alignment, intention, SMART goals, all that good stuff. So that's what we're all going to be doing. Yes, it's exciting. Through this program, through this 8-week coaching program, I can support you in having the tools that you started to learn in this class and applying them in a guided setting, right? So I'll be teaching you even deeper on all these topics, and then coaching you on it and helping you process it on Thursday. So it starts Tuesday, the first Tuesday of September, which is Tuesday the 6th, runs through Thursday, October the 27th. Classes meet Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. They're all recorded. Tuesdays are the learning classes, Thursdays are the coaching and process classes. You'll have unlimited forever access to the recordings. They'll be stored on a back end. And also, if you buy in at this beta launch, during this beta launch, this is the first time I'm offering this, you're going to be able to come back and do another 8-week session whenever you want for whatever price you pay. So Michelle locked in $677 for the rest of her life. She can come back and coach with me for 8 weeks for $677 forever. So if you come on in during today's special pricing, which is $711, you can coach with me for 8 weeks at any time from here until I'm doing this for $711. All right, so some of the topics that I'm going to be teaching you include Okay, we're going to be teaching, of course, more on the unconscious mind and the prime directives of the unconscious mind, and why it's really important to know what your unconscious mind is tasked with, so then you can better understand why some of the negative emotions and thoughts have formed. You'll understand why this happens when you understand what the prime directives of the unconscious mind are. And when you understand that, those negative thoughts and emotions become less daunting to deal with, because you realize that it's just your neurology doing what it's tasked to do. You don't need to take any of this personally. The not good enough, the not smart enough, the I can't, none of it needs to be a judgment on yourself, because it's just your neurology was doing what it was tasked to do. Your unconscious mind is designed to preserve your body, preserve your life, which sometimes means repressing identities like I'm smart, I'm capable, I am good enough. It may mean repressing negative thoughts and emotions, or it may mean repressing emotions and thoughts that you're not ready to deal with, that would literally be a threat to your existence. So we're going to continue to teach and talk on the unconscious mind. In conjunction with that, I'm going to teach you about the emotional vibration scale. You may have heard about this, where down at the bottom are states like rage and jealousy, and up at the top are states like peace and love, and how it's not possible for us to go from rage, anger, shut down to peace, joy, love. We have to work our way up the emotional vibration scale, which may include some states like boredom, apathy, right? Apathy is a much more conducive state than anger and rage. So I'm going to teach about the emotional vibration scale and how we will travel up and down it. However, that's part of that alignment process. And we're going to talk about the vibration of emotions and what emotions also do in your body, so that I can give you another layer deeper and understand why being in a positive state, it's so much more than just achieving our goals. It's literally doing good for our body and our minds. We'll dig deeper into the NLP communication model, into the VACOG, right? The visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, and how those modalities operate to create those picture movies, and how when you know how you process information, you can understand why you're sensitive to sound or visual things or how things feel, and how to bring that language into your language as a coach, a space holder, whatever it is that you're doing here. Of course, we'll always be talking about the intuition. I'm going to teach you things like chunking up and chunking down, right? So you'll know when you hear people speak and they're up here in peace, love, equality, and then, but they're stuck down here in the how, when, why, and all of that. So you as a coach, if you're a coach or a space holder or a guide, you're going to be able to help your people get from all the way up here to down here so that they can actually take action. And so they'll start to feel more aligned and they'll start to move with their purpose, because you're going to be able to help them, or you're going to be able to help yourself get from this abstract, vague, airy-fairy place that motivates us at a soul level, but isn't so good for telling us what to do next. So I'm going to teach you about that chunk up, chunk down. And I'm going to teach you the language that goes with that. So there's a couple of language models which are used in the work that I do. One is called the meta model. The meta model is where we go down into specifics and where I help you recover that deleted, distorted, generalized information. I'm going to teach you how to ask questions from the meta model to recover the deleted, distorted, generalized information. Then I'm also going to teach you Milton model. Milton model is that chunked up agreement language. So wouldn't you love to know how to get anyone and everyone to feel good when they're in your presence and agree with whatever it is that you're saying, so that they can have an opportunity that they've never had before? Of course, you'd love to have that. I would love to have that. That's why I studied Milton model. And Milton model is a way of speaking that brings everybody up to a very high level of awareness and agreement, so that now you can all be on the same page. This is a tremendous skill to have in relationships and negotiation, friendships, business, when you're working with your clients, especially in relationships, because often we're coming at relationships from like my side, your side. If we can't get a little bit higher, which is what is it that we're really talking about? What is it that we really both want and need? Then we're always going to stay here in this conflict place. So Milton model is something that I'll teach you to understand the higher level, right? I've been teaching this a lot during this class. Alignment is the umbrella of visualization, manifestation, vision boards, affirmations, positive thinking, etc. Right, I'm going to teach you how to get to that higher level so that you can teach, speak, lead, including leading yourself from that high level awareness. And you also have the details that come from that meta model. I'm going to teach you concepts like perception is projection. We're going to talk about how whatever is within you is outside of you. So one of the quotes that I love to demonstrate this is, we do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that you could stop by for a while. So back to that question, right? Or that quote, we don't see the world as we are. We see the world, we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. Perception is projection. So everything that we see externally, we deserve to see how that applies to us internally. The world is such an unfair place. This was one of my favorite limiting decisions, right? I believe that some people had it good, some people had it bad, that some people were rich and powerful and influential, and the rest of us were just peons led around by them. Heavy into conspiracy theory stuff, I still have some, that's for another conversation. I still do some research in those areas. However, I cleared the limiting decision that the world is an unfair place because that was just keeping me in that victim mentality where I was constantly struggling against people who were in control or forces that were in control. I didn't have my own agency. So I was projecting onto the world my own lack of agency because I hadn't yet cleared the negative thoughts and emotions, which is actually, there is a lot of opportunity and movement in the world. And I can move in the world in a way that's in integrity with my deepest values and advance, even if there may be forces that have more money, more power, more influence than I do. I still have a huge band of world in which I can operate and move forward and continue to clear my negative thoughts and emotions. So I moved outside of that frame of the world is an unfair place, and I found that I had some more space to move. Yes, Shannon. Okay, I'm going to teach you guys about cause and effect and towards and away from. These are what we can call motivational strategies, right? With towards and away from, for example, with the money story. Are you wanting to make more money so that you can travel and live your purpose and write your book? Or are you wanting to make more money because you no longer want to be in credit card debt, or you no longer want to have a mortgage? Those are very different types of motivations, which we can generally label as towards and away from. And I'm going to teach you all about being able to tap into your own motivation and understand where your motivation is coming from. If you have an away from motivation, I don't want to break up because I'm very comfortable with this person, even though we never have sex and his money situation is terrible and he's an alcoholic, I'm really comfortable. So I'm not going to break up. That's very much an away from motivation versus I know that this relationship no longer serves me. I no longer want to be with someone with alcohol dependency or who has money problems, and I deserve to have a fulfilling and thrilling sex life. So I am leaving this, I'm choosing to leave this relationship. That is towards what I'm wanting or what someone is wanting versus staying in something because they're away from, they're not willing to take the inspired action step. So we're going to talk a lot about cause effect, towards and away from in this 8-week program. We might even do some fun NLP things and some fun hypnotherapy things. We're going to see how that all develops. I also want to invite everyone watching here to consider signing up for my yoga studio yoga membership. So I am usually I offer my online yoga studio membership at $49.99 a month. For everyone who's in this class, I'm offering it for $34.99 a month for forever, for however long you want it. So it's $15 off the normal monthly rate. And that includes access to all of my on-demand content, which includes classes in yin yoga, forest yoga, vinyasa yoga, hatha yoga, yoga nidra, booty yoga, high intensity interval training, all kinds of things. And you can have access to my on-demand library as well as my live classes. I teach about 1 to 2 live classes a week. I also offer things like new moon and full moon yoga classes and ceremonies and other fun things. So that's $34.99 a month instead of $49.99 a month. So that's my online yoga studio. But what I really am passionate about and what I really want to encourage all of you to consider at some point in your time is a breakthrough. Now, a breakthrough, I talked a lot about my money story. My first breakthrough was in money. Then I did one in self-expression, my relationship to the outside world, self-identity, and now I'm doing one in intimate relationships. So there are 9 areas of life, and in each one of those areas of life, so we may be awesome at relationships, but we may not be fully expressed in business, or we might be amazing at business and career, but our relational life is really suffering, or our spirituality is suffering, or our family life is suffering. So each area of life deserves to be examined in and of itself. Many of the issues are cross-contextualized. However, we see the area of life, right now, there's an area of your life where you're not getting the results that you want. And it's kind of like a sore thumb back there. And you're just like, need to do something about it, right? So the breakthrough is a intense short form coaching process, anywhere from 8 to 20 hours delivered over 2 to 3 weeks, ideally, where you're going to have a rapid neurological transformation You're going to release all of the negative core emotions, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, get the learnings from them, and release all the limiting decisions. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't do it. The world is an unfair place, et cetera, as well as do a parts integration. A parts integration is where literally we take two parts. We all create voices around certain situations, right? Around certain situations, we have adaptations. A parts integration is taking those adaptations that are scattered all over our neurology and bringing them back together. So that when we're in our part, we're not acting like somebody that we're like, who the heck is that person, right? Like a part for me would be, and I don't really do this anymore since I've had parts integrations, but under stress, become hyper controlling, like everything has to be done at this time, this way, in this little Ziploc bag, put that there, and this goes on top of that. And I had to control everything to feel safe and secure. And when I was under stress, I would go into that place. Now that in other areas of life, that aspect of me, that sort of organized and, organized aspect came out in much more functional expressions. And so I had to recover that part of that ultra controlling for safety and then integrate that so that I could be organized and I could feel calm and I could feel that I had momentum across all areas of my life, right? It was no longer a stress response. Anyway, we'll do trauma releases. Breakthroughs are incredible. They get you a massive level of transformation very, 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 very extremely quickly. And it's said that after 3 or 4 breakthroughs, you will have a new identity. 1 breakthrough offers immediate relief and momentum. 2 offers a feeling of a complete new level of trust in yourself and in your life. And by breakthrough number 3, 4, you'll have a whole new identity. So I mentioned a lot of my clients that in 3 years, they went from doing this to having this 180-degree total flip side life, right? I could say the same thing about myself. In 2020, I was living in a teeny dingy studio apartment in Jersey City. Now I live in a beautiful home in Florida. I own a property in Costa Rica. I have an awesome new relationship. Everything is amazing. Oh, Shannon said, I've had 4 and they are amazing. Yes. Preach for the breakthrough process. It is truly my passion, aside from yoga and meditation, which I love to teach as well, but breakthroughs are incredible. I cannot overstate the value of these processes. So as I said, it's an 8 to 20 hour engagement done over ideally 2 or 3 weeks, like fast and intense. And that creates the container for it to be so powerful. So my packages that I'm offering for this class include the breakthrough work and other stuff. So in my platinum package, you will get a breakthrough in one area of life. You'll get ongoing one-on-one coaching with me for 3 months after your breakthrough, which is really awesome to help integrate all that you learn from that breakthrough. You'll be invited into my 8-week group coaching program, the Self-Mastery Movement. You'll get a free yoga membership to my online yoga studio, and you'll get a bonus MPVI, CVI, and Oracle reading. Now, an MPVI is the Meta Programs Values Inventory. This is, I've mentioned Meta Programs a lot in the NLP communication model. The MPVI, the Meta Programs Values Inventory, will teach you how your brain processes information. So you'll understand if you're a global thinker or a specific thinker, if you're an internal check or external check, and many other aspects about how your mind processes information. It's very valuable. The CVI is the core values indicator, and values is something that I've mentioned a little bit here, but we'll go deeper into the group coaching program and self-mastery movement. Your core values indicator will show you your level of neurological development. There is a fascinating system that's also sometimes called spiral dynamics, which posits that we evolve neurologically in tandem with our environment. So when we were hunter-gatherers and we lived in caves, we were only able to get to a certain level of neurology because basically we were concerned with survival. And as our environment has enabled us to grow to handle more and more complex problems, our neurology has grown. Most of planet Earth right now is kind of at a level 4 neurology, which is very binary. Yes, no, right, wrong. This book is right, that book's wrong. This movement's right, that movement's wrong. These people are extremists, these people are not. And everything is very binary. That's kind of where we're stuck at right now on planet Earth. There are value levels above that, which are neurological layers, levels of growth. So at level 5, we start to see those problems of the binary polarization, yes, no, right, wrong. And level 5 is a much more relativistic model of the world. Well, it might be right for some, it might be wrong for others. Well, these people that you're labeling extremists, you're being really extreme as you're labeling them extremists. These people that you're saying are violent, you're being real violent as you're talking about those other violent people. So, you know, the level 5 people sort of start to see that it's just kind of there's a lot of finger pointing, and that the perception is projection. The people saying what those people are doing are probably doing the thing that they're blaming those people for doing. And so you start to see through these things, and, you know, level 5, level 6. Anyway, CVI is a really cool inventory, and that's going to be a bonus for anyone that signs up for the platinum package. You can get started for $1,500 deposit, and you can pay it off over 8 weeks, the 8 weeks of the group coaching program. If you choose that option, it's $375 a week for 8 weeks after your deposit. For the platinum package, which includes a breakthrough, 3 months of ongoing support coaching after your breakthrough, my self-mastery movement group coaching program, membership to my yoga studio, and a bonus MPVI and CVI. Oh, and an oracle card reading. All right, if you want the gold package, the gold package is, oh, and the platinum package normally is $10,000, but I'm selling it on this class for $4,999. So that is the breakthrough, the one-on-one coaching, group coaching, yoga membership, CVI, MPVI, and oracle card for $49.99 on this class. My gold package is a breakthrough in one area of life, the group coaching program, and the yoga membership with a bonus MPVI and CVI. So everything that's included in platinum, except you do not get the 3 months of ongoing coaching with me afterwards, but you will have the support of the group. That package is normally $7,500. I'm selling it today for $34.99. So that's, everything is half off, right? Half off my programs because you are the beta launch people. And my silver package includes the breakthrough and the yoga membership with the bonus MPVI and CVI. That's normally $5,000. Today, it's $24.99. So I'm going to drop in the chat the link for you to review my breakthrough coaching page. And I'm also going to drop in the link, the link to my yoga studio, so you can see some of my on-demand classes. So we were talking about this in the context of resourcing up, and we talked about Oprah and Michael Phelps and Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson, and how all of these people resourced up to keep getting to that next level of growth, right? Oprah didn't start out, Oprah's biography is pretty fascinating, to get to where she got in one lifetime. She did not come from means. She had nothing really given to her. She did the inner change work to get there. So anyway, so yes, in all of these programs, but especially in the breakthrough work, you will be releasing those negative thoughts and emotions, getting to cause, taking that inspired action steps towards, and making massive transformations in your life. However, I also want to offer some other coaching processes that I do if you might be interested in something, just dipping your foot in the water. Okay, Shannon, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. It was awesome. Thank you. All right. So root cause coaching, that is my one-on-one coaching for 6 weeks. That's usually $15.99. I'm offering 6 weeks of one-on-one coaching for $799 in this class. So root cause coaching, we'll get down to the root cause, the root limiting decisions and negative emotions, and we'll release those. It's very powerful, different from breakthrough work, but very powerful. You can sign up for root cause coaching. I have to get a new link for that. Okay, limiting decision trauma release is a one-time coaching process, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, to release trauma. All of us have trauma. Some of us have continuous trauma by a parent, through a relationship or series of relationships. Some of us have one-time trauma, a car accident, an act of war, a natural disaster. We deserve to release what's encoded in our trauma, recover that deleted, distorted, generalized information that will free us from that trauma and allow us to move forward in our lives without the fear or anxiety that often accompanies trauma. So a trauma release or a limiting decision release is a one-time 2 to 4 hour process. It's very, very powerful. It's kind of like a mini breakthrough. Ordinarily, I charge $1,500 for one trauma release process. Today, I'm offering it for $555. Hypnotherapy, I am a certified master hypnotherapist. Hypnotherapy is amazing for things like stop smoking, change your eating habits, exercise more, go to bed at a time and wake up at a time that you want. Hypnotherapy is an amazing support for changing or stopping certain habits or beliefs that we're having. So hypnotherapy is pretty much just like meditation. And it's a really beautiful and fun process. Hypnotherapy sessions are typically between 30 and 45 minutes long. I normally charge about $1,000 for 4 sessions of hypnotherapy. Today, I'm offering it for $699. Somatic coaching and meditation is a new certification that I'm working on right now. And I've been meditating for over 10 years. Somatic coaching is a coaching that moves through the body. So it's really, really working with the kinesthetic sense. So if you're a kino, a kinesthetic person, somatic coaching and meditation might be awesome for you because you're really tapping into how you're feeling, and those feelings that create those pictures, right? You've got those IRs, the thought, feeling, behavior. We work with that a lot. So I coach you on what's coming up. You tell me about what's coming up right now in the moment, and then I create a meditation on the spot for you to help you get the learnings out of that meditation. It's another kind of mini breakthrough process. It doesn't follow quite the same format as the breakthrough, but you're using your intuition, you're using that symbolic layer of understanding, that immediate layer of understanding to know what it is that you need to release, that you deserve to release. We coach on it for about 30, 45 minutes, and then I do about 30 to 45 minutes of meditation, which has some hypnotherapy in it. So that's those sessions are about 75 minutes long. Normally that's $4,000 because those are custom coaching, custom meditation right there on the spot to provide relief for what you need right then and there. On this class, I'm offering it for $1,111, one of my favorite numbers. So if you're interested in somatic coaching and meditation, of course, I record those for you so that you have those meditations for your support at any time. And then last but not least, my yoga studio membership, which includes all of my on-demand classes as well as my live classes, normally $49.99 a month. On this call, during this class, $34.99 a month. Okay, so those are all of my offers, and I want to thank you all so much for being here. I want to celebrate Michelle one more time. Oh, and we've got some raffle winners. How could I forget? Okay, not everybody's left on the call, but some of you are here, and I am ready to announce these amazing winners. All right, so this will also be in the recording, of course. And if you are a winner, please message me on Facebook to claim your prize. And we'll set up whatever it is we need to set up so that you can get it. Okay, here we go. Winner of an Oracle card reading is Raquel Sanchez. Ding, 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 ding. Raquel wins an Oracle card reading. Raquel, get in touch with me so I can tell you how we can set that up. Victoria Casanova. Victoria Casanova wins a free natal chart interpretation. Victoria, hopefully you know the time of your birth, time, the date, and the place, and I will cast your natal chart and give you a free natal chart interpretation. Krista Turnbull, she's on the call. Oh my gosh, yay, Krista. Krista wins a free MPVI, a Meta Program Values Inventory. So Krista's gonna find out all about how her brain processes information. Krista, this will take probably about half an hour to 40 minutes. We'll hop on a Zoom. I'll administer the MPVI to you right then and there, and you'll find out more about how your brain processes information. All right, Morgan, she was on the call earlier, but she hopped off. So Morgan wins a $20 Amazon gift card. Yay. So Morgan, you're the winner of the Amazon gift card. Get in touch with me so that you can, I can get that to you. And then Wow, Switch is, woo, Switch won a really awesome prize. Switch is on the call. Switch, you win a discounted $99 entry into my group coaching program, Self-Mastery Movement, which begins at the beginning of September. So Switch, if you want to claim your $99 prize, you can join my group coaching program for $99. Oh my God, that's huge. All right, so everyone, thank you so much for participating in the raffle. I took into account live participation, how much you participated in the chat, and how often you posted in Facebook, if you shared this information with anyone, if you invited a friend. So I want to celebrate Michelle for stepping into Self-Mastery Movement. And thank you so much for being here. I really, 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 really appreciate. Oh, thank you, Krista. I'm so glad that you learned. Yeah, and we'll get in touch about your MPVI. I want to thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure to teach this material, and I will look forward to serving you again in the future. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. Please feel free to reach out to me for anything. If you have any further questions, if you want to talk about any of these programs, we can hop on a Zoom to see if any of them are good for you. Yay, Switch, awesome. Okay, I will reach out to you and tell you how you can get signed up for that. All right, so everyone have an amazing weekend. Reach out to me for anything. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, my email, and I will post all those links in the Facebook group. Have an amazing weekend, and thank you so much for your time. Bye. Thank you, Switch.